Chapter 1, Hook and Teaser. There is an island in Japan where the population density was once the highest ever recorded on Earth. Higher than Manhattan. Higher than Hong Kong. Higher than anywhere on the planet, ever. And yet, the people who lived there were not allowed to leave. Not freely. Not without permission. Today, almost everything on that island has collapsed. The walls are crumbling. The corridors are silent. But the story of what happened there, why tens of thousands of people packed onto a tiny rock in the sea, and why they eventually vanished overnight, that story is genuinely one of the strangest in modern Japanese history. In this video, we are going to walk through it. We'll start with why the island was built in the first place. Then we'll look at what daily life actually looked like inside those walls. And at the end, I'll tell you the thing that most people don't talk about, the part of Hashima's history that Japan spent decades trying to quietly forget. Stick with me. Because the real story is darker than the photographs. Chapter 2, What is Hashima Island? The island is called Hashima. Locals sometimes call it Gunkanjima, which roughly translates to Battleship Island. It sits about 15 kilometers off the coast of Nagasaki in southwestern Japan. From a distance, the outline of its dense, fortified architecture really does look like a battleship sitting low in the water. Gray, angular, silent. The island itself is tiny. Just over 6 hectares. To give you a sense of scale, that is smaller than many city blocks. But at its peak in the early 1970s, more than 5,000 people lived there. On 6 hectares. The population density reached over 83,000 people per square kilometer. That is a number that is almost impossible to picture. And the reason all those people were crammed onto that tiny rock in the sea was coal. Chapter 3, Why the island existed. Underwater coal. Specifically, seams of coal running beneath the ocean floor around Hashima. Mitsubishi acquired the island in 1890 and began constructing undersea mine shafts that eventually reached over a kilometer below the seafloor. The work was brutal. Temperatures in the shafts could exceed 30 degrees Celsius. The passages were narrow and low. And to keep coal flowing at the rate Japan needed, especially as industrialization accelerated through the early 20th century and then dramatically through World War II, Mitsubishi needed a permanent, on-site labor force. So they built an entire city on the rock. Japan's first large reinforced concrete residential building was constructed on Hashima in 1916. This was not a temporary camp. This was a planned, permanent community. Schools. A hospital. A cinema. Shops. A rooftop garden for the children. All of it crammed onto a slab of rock surrounded by open ocean. And here is the thing about leaving. Workers on Hashima needed permission to travel to the mainland. The island's remote location, combined with a company-run infrastructure that controlled housing, food, and access to boats, meant that in practical terms, especially during the war years, the population was captive. This is the open loop I mentioned at the start. Because the restriction on movement was not just a logistical detail. During World War II, it became something much more serious. And I will come back to that, but first, let me tell you what it actually felt like to live there. Chapter 4, Daily Life on the Island. Imagine waking up every morning on an island you cannot leave. Your apartment is small. The walls are thin. You can hear your neighbors through the concrete. Outside your window there is nothing but ocean in every direction. Former residents who have spoken to journalists and researchers describe life on Hashima as a mix of tight community and claustrophobia. Everyone knew everyone. There was a real neighborhood feeling, festivals, school events, baseball games played on the rooftop. But there was nowhere to go. No parks. No hills. No forests. Just concrete and ocean. Children who grew up on the island have described the disorienting experience of moving to the mainland as teenagers and encountering open space for the first time. Fields. Trees. The ability to simply walk in a direction without hitting a wall or the sea. The coal itself never stopped. Shifts ran continuously. The mines operated 24 hours. The island never truly slept. And if this is the kind of hidden history you want more of, stories that don't make the tourist brochures, consider subscribing. There is a lot more to come. Chapter 5, The Dark History Now. The part that was quietly left out of many early tourism promotions when Hashima was being rediscovered by the world. During World War II, Mitsubishi brought Korean and Chinese laborers to Hashima to work in the mines. These men were not volunteers in any meaningful sense. Under Japan's wartime mobilization system, Korean workers were conscripted, forced, into labor on the island. Historical records and survivor testimonies describe conditions for these workers as significantly harsher than those experienced by Japanese workers. Longer hours. Less food. Different, worse, housing in the lower levels of the island. The ocean surrounding the island meant escape was almost impossible. Multiple accounts from survivors and historical research indicate that workers who attempted to swim to freedom drowned or were recaptured. The exact number of deaths attributable to the forced labor conditions on Hashima is disputed among historians, but the forced labor itself is documented. South Korea raised this history formally when Japan nominated Hashima as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. In 2015, Japan agreed as part of the UNESCO process to acknowledge that there were forced workers at sites including Hashima, and committed to taking measures to honor the memory of the victims. The implementation of that commitment has since been criticized by South Korea as insufficient, an ongoing diplomatic tension that has not been resolved. This is the weight that sits beneath the aesthetic of Hashima. The ghost island photographs are genuinely stunning. The decay is atmospheric. But the silence on that island is not just the silence of an abandoned industrial site. It carries history that has not been fully processed. Chapter 6, The Abandonment. By the late 1960s and early 1970s, Japan was shifting its energy economy. Petroleum was replacing coal. The coal seams under Hashima were exhausted. The economics no longer worked. In January 1974, Mitsubishi announced the mine was closing. By April of that year, the island was empty. In just a few months, more than 5,000 people packed whatever they could carry and left. They left behind furniture, clothes, photographs, children's toys. The school still had chalk near the boards. Apartments still had dishes in the cupboards. The island was sealed off. For decades, no one was allowed to visit. Nature, and the ocean, began immediately reclaiming what humans had built. Chapter 7, What Hashima Is Now and Conclusion. Today, Hashima is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, officially listed as part of the Meiji Industrial Revolution sites. There are guided tours. You can arrive by boat from Nagasaki and walk along a designated perimeter path. You are not allowed into most of the structures, they are genuinely dangerous, and some have already partially collapsed since the tours began. The Haikyo community, urban explorers who document Japan's abandoned places, have long treated Hashima with a particular kind of reverence. Not as an adventure playground. As a site that deserves to be witnessed seriously. Because the silence out there is not just aesthetically interesting. It is a record of real human lives. Families who raised children on a concrete island. Workers who had no choice. A community that existed at maximum human density and then vanished in 4 months. The buildings are still falling. Every year, more of Hashima's structures collapse into the ground the company built them on. And somewhere in that process, in the slow disappearance of those walls, the stories they hold are disappearing too. Which is part of why telling them matters. If you made it here, thank you. If this is the kind of slow, serious exploration you want more of, subscribe. There are more places like this. More stories underneath the photographs. Next time, we are going to look at a place even fewer people talk about, one of Japan's abandoned theme parks, where the rides are still standing, and where what was left behind is stranger than anyone expected. See you there.